All right, everyone, welcome back. It's Cherry Picking. Today's episode, buy low, sell high defensemen. You guys asked for in the comments. I'm going to deliver. And I'm going to be going through some top tier defensemen today too. So be sure to watch the entire video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But before we get into the video, for those who are avid sports bettors, you need to sign up at Caesars Sportsbook. Sign up with promo code OwnersBoxFull. The link will be in the description. Get a first bet insurance up to $1,500 along with tons of other loyalty points. If you're looking for a book to place same game parlays in the NHL, Caesars is probably one of the best of them. But let's get right into our buy low, sell high defenseman for today. The first buy low guy that we're going to be doing is Justin Faulk, St. Louis defenseman. Obviously really highly rostered right now. Through 33 games this year, is 18 points, featured on the power play as well with 5 power play points. Shooting percentage very low for a guy whose shooting volume is pretty high at around shooting percentages around 5%, playing about 23 minutes per game. But Faulk is trending down right now for sure. But I think there's reasons to believe that he'll start producing at a level where we're comfortable with Justin Faulk. Years where we've seen him produce much better seasons. So let's start off with the fact that over the last 30 days, he has just 5 points in 16 games with 1 goal and 4 assists. He's 10th in expected goals over that same time period amongst defensemen as well in the league. He's 3rd in high danger chances for and 12th in hits. So this guy's putting up the expected numbers and just whatever reason can't capitalize. This Blues team's been in a little bit of a funk offensively and defensively for that matter. But that's a lethal combo to look at and say, hey, okay, this guy isn't producing at an insane level right now, but maybe he can get there at some point. His ice time isn't the issue either. He played the second most minutes on the Blues, only behind Colton Parayko over that same time period as well. He's on a 7-game pointless streak. There's really no better time to buy low on Justin Faulk. Last year, Faulk had 16 goals. We've seen him get 15 plus goals in multiple seasons before coming to St. Louis too. He's the offensive leader for the back end on this Blues. The opportunities he creates are so valuable. So be sure to try to buy low on Justin Faulk right now. All right, so the first guy we're going to be selling high on this week. I'm really interested to hear you guys' opinions on this because this guy has been playing well, but looking at his underlying numbers, I think this is a perfect sell high candidate. Shayne Gostisbehere. I love Gostisbehere. Don't get me wrong. On Arizona, he's been great, but I think this is the perfect time to sell high on him looking at his numbers and how the Arizona Coyotes are playing. Over the last month, the Coyotes have the highest shooting percentage in the NHL with the lowest shots on goal per game at around 25. Their shooting percentage is around 12%. It's way too high for a team like the Coyotes, whose skill level is nowhere near some of the teams that have about a 10% shooting percentage, which is also still high. You're looking at the Carolina Hurricanes, Bruins, Florida Panthers, teams like that. One of the players contributing to this problem is Shayne Gostisbehere. Right now, his shooting percentage is 15 over that same time frame. That's way too high for a defenseman, especially of his liking. We've never seen him at a shooting percentage for a consistent season anywhere around 15%. He also has 4 goals on 26 shots over his last 30 days. That's wildly low volume amongst defensemen over the last 30 days as well. He has 13 points, which is tied for 5th most. But I think that's more fluke than anything. I think he's a highly skilled defenseman, but he's tied 2nd in goals with 4. His expected goals was less than 2 at 1.41, which is 40th in the NHL over that same time frame, about 30 days. His individual scoring opportunities, he's tied 30th with 17, and he's logged just 1 high danger attempt too over that same 30-day period. Like you look at last year, yeah, he had 51 points, but even it's tough to say that Arizona team was better than this year's. I think they're probably the same. If anything, last year's team had a little bit more skill on it. But you look at the years before that, like when he was in Philly, he kind of got shipped off to Arizona. He was brutal. He barely had 20-point seasons. And now with Jacob Chikrin back in the lineup too, this will definitely impact his offensive opportunities. Like right now, where he's scoring and producing on a very low volume of shots. Before that, he was the main defenseman or offensive defenseman looking at it with Chikrin out, obviously. So I think it's a good time to sell high on Gostisbehere. I think there's definitely some big dogs you could target with a name like Gostisbehere right now and where he is kind of amongst defensemen in points and how he's been performing fantasy-wise. I think trade targets I'd go for after maybe Brandon Montour, Devin Taves, and maybe even Justin Faulk, I think is a realistic option too. All right, so the other guy we're going to be buying low on this week is Kris Letang on the Pittsburgh Penguins, obviously a very familiar face of the league. He had a stroke and missed 5 games, almost like 2 weeks, which is wild considering like he had a stroke and he's already back playing hockey. Over the past 30 days, he's played just 8 games, but he does have 4 points. Look, fantasy owners can get annoyed very easily, especially in hockey. Like there's guys that are obviously on the wire that are always kind of viable, especially when you're in those 10, 12-man leagues. 16 and 18-man leagues, obviously a little bit different. But still, people will get frustrated and look to either trade or pick someone else up, especially with defensemen because of the volatility of them. It goes without saying this team is much better when Kris Letang is on the ice. He pretty much does it all. He plays on the first D pair, plays on the first power play, second penalty kill, and right now Jeff Petrie is out. So they need to lean on Letang more than ever. It's very evident he plays all over the place and all the time. He's already back to playing 26 to 27 minutes a game after missing almost 2 weeks of full speed NHL hockey. And a small sample size too. He has more high danger chances for than Gostisbehere in 6 less games over that 30-day period that I keep talking about. His hit totals are actually pretty high too. I was pretty surprised seeing this. He's 7th in hits per 60 over the last month. The Penguins doesn't seem like they're going anywhere. This is a team that's playing really well. Sidney Crosby looks like he's 21 again. So get Letang while he's on the skid after missing some time. I think it's a very valuable defensive option to have on your team. All right, so the other guy we're going to be selling high on this week, again, curious to hear everyone's opinion on this, but I really think that right now is the best possible time that you can sell high on Josh Morrissey on the Winnipeg Jets. He's 38 points in 32 games. The guy's playing great. He's producing huge assist guy, 32 assists, but I think right now his value is so much higher than what people, for one, expected. And I think you could get some really good return value back for Josh Morrissey right now. So, like as I mentioned, great assist guy. There's no doubt about it. But recently, over the past 30 days, this Jets offense, in my opinion, has been overperforming a little bit. If we're comparing it from right now to the beginning of the season, he has 5 goals over the last 30 days on just 22 shots. So that's even crazier than what I was talking about with Shayne Gostisbehere over the last month or so. His shooting percentage is 23%. That's insanely high. No one keeps it at that level. We're usually seeing, like last year, Austin Matthews led the league in goals. Shooting percentage last year finished around 17, 18%, and that's still pretty high. So there's no reason that we can possibly think that Josh Morrissey is going to keep it up at this number. He's 3rd in points amongst defensemen. As I mentioned, he's 38. You look at guys that are around there. You look at Rasmus Dahlin, Erik Karlsson, Cale Makar, who are all right there in points. Their expected goal totals are around like 8. Morrissey's is like just barely above 3. So he's not really creating his own scoring opportunities to be able to hold necessary this kind of point production that he's been at this point. I'm sure you think like, oh, it doesn't really matter. He's an assist guy. But if you're valuing a defenseman as top 5, especially in fantasy hockey, which Josh Morrissey is right now, he needs to create scoring chances or he's not going to stay there. He also doesn't really do much else on the ice other than be that offensive guy that Rick Bowness is using pretty well, obviously, on Winnipeg this year, but a defenseman who's played at least 200 minutes this season. He's 111th in hits and 95th in block shots. So if he's not racking up assists every night, we're not going to see him. He's not going to be very valuable to your fantasy hockey team, obviously. But right now, Josh Morrissey is playing very, very well. You could definitely ship him off for one of those top-tier defensemen who's maybe having a slower month or a slower start to the season in general. Thank you guys for tuning in. This will probably be the last video before the holiday break or NHL holiday break from the 24th to the 27th. So please, happy holidays. Enjoy time with your family. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.